Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching us from. Welcome to this episode of Women at the Front Lines. My name is Monica Amoding, and on this program, we project women's leadership, women's impact, women's value addition to society wherever they are. And I'm delighted to be hosting one of those people you've been asking us to bring here, a person from the grassroots. And this person is working in those levels, very impactful work in the life of activism around HIV/AIDS issues across Uganda, across the region, and she's doing a lot of philanthropy around that area. I am delighted to welcome you, Honorable Maxensia Nakibuuka Takirambule. I hope I got it well. Takirambule means what?
Hey.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Honorable.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
Good.
Yeah.
And so honored that you were able to find time to come here to have a chat with us.
Yeah, I'm honored for inviting me into this space, a space which I like so much. I love sharing. I love talking to people.
Yes.
And I'm happy to be here.
Honorable Maxensia's story touches many people's lives because you're working at the lowest level and you're working with ordinary people, doing your advocacy, but also supporting direct interventions in terms of philanthropy and, community-based interventions in that community that you come from. Would like just to have a chat and conversation around that, how your work at that level brings change in the lives of the people that you work with. And that's the life we want to capture about you. But yours is a unique case because the work you do, very few people do that. Of course, living positively, but also the disability that you had along the way. And yet, in those same circumstances, you are thriving, impacting society, changing lives, living a life that is sold out for others. Would like to just bless us with that impactful life of yours. And we celebrate it, but also inspire someone else who could be going through that, but also can pick one or two lessons around your life and work. So this Takirambule, some people may know, but others may not. Just like to find out a little bit about yourself and life. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, thank you so much, Honorable, for inviting me today to share my life experience, not only into leadership, not only into the activism that I'm doing, but maybe our viewers would know something today about me that they did not know. You mentioned my names quite well.
I had to practice it.
Many times people fail to mention these long names. I am Maxensia Nakibuuka Takirambule. I come from a family of 13 and the last born.
You are the last born?
And my sisters today think as if I could not do work when they compare the Maxensia of the 70s and the Maxensia of today. They just get surprised because being a last born in the home.
And you're doing so much.
Where I was taken as a baby, my mother used to call me Akana Kange all
last
the time.
born.
So I'm a last born in a family of 13. And you can imagine we are only 3. Yes.
Wow.
So
the
by
rest
the time
have gone.
I started understanding, we had lost about 5. And later on, my brothers who brought me to Kampala and a sister also died. And this one died almost in my hands because I took care of them when they were sick. That experience alone is...
Out of 10 family members of 10,
now we are
only 3 left. Yes. Wow. That's a very tough one.
And I have stood in this gap. This leadership or activism has helped me even to know how to help my own family out of the HIV scourge that claimed some of your siblings' lives, taking care of their children, as well as taking care of mine.
Wow.
My leadership journey starts from home. My father was Omubaka. in the Luchiko.
Okay.
So people in this community in Butende, I was born in Butende.
Butende here, just Butende, on Entebbe Road.
Masaka.
Ah, that is Masaka.
That is Mukungwe municipality.
Okay.
So everybody was looking at a person who is coming out to replace a father who was a strong Kabakayeka person, who was very close to the Mutesa II, Mutesa II. I mean, was like, who comes out to replace this man who died about 30 years ago? So the community in Masaka was so happy to see that I emerged as a politician.
As a politician.
So my journey begins from Butende when I go for this primary level education at Butende, St. Gregory Butende Primary School. So my brother, now the late Bonaventure, brings me to Kampala for my secondary school. So in the 80s, I think many of us were ambitious. When I do senior 4, I go for a course. But I think on my side, it was God's choice.
Plans for your life.
God's plan. Because I did not know that before even I graduated, my brother who was paying my fees would be dead. So after senior 4, I was convinced by my brother to do a course. Not to go to HSC.
A-level.
To A-level, but at least do a course.
Yeah.
I decided to do that and did a course in secretarial work at College of Business Studies, Nakasero. I wonder whether it is still there.
Nakawa?
Nakasero.
Well,
I don't know if it is still there.
Yeah.
So for 2 years. After 2 years, by the way, I loved accounts even in the O-level.
You know, sometimes people despair when they don't go to university. They imagine life has come to an end.
I'm even here to tell them that you can still do work more than a person who went to A-level.
That's true.
If you're really focused and you know what you want. So after the first certificate course, I pursued a diploma course in accounting with an association of professional accountants called APAS. Today when I pass in Zambia, I see APAS secondary school. But me, I went to APAS.
Okay.
And I did another 3 years diploma in accounting.
Wow. Wow.
So as we were graduating, they were telling us to do computer. And I was like, we are going to work. So we did not do computer studies under this course. Just getting to the field looking for jobs. Everybody was saying, I want a stenographer, I want an accounts clerk who is computer literate.
And you did not have the computer.
And I did not start any work or getting an employment until I went to Uganda Cooperative Alliance to do a 3-month course in computer.
At that time, computers were just coming up.
Yeah. So I did that as well. I'm a wizard in computer when it comes to typing. Remember when you started by typewriters?
Stenography.
When you are doing 35 words per minute. I wonder whether you can do that.
I cannot. Even this one, I have to search for the keys.
So the challenge now was like getting onto this computer when you are used to a typewriter. So I could do that hand every time I finish a line.
Yes.
So since that time, I've done a lot of courses, other small courses, up to the recent one being my leadership course.
Okay.
At Kode International Institute of St. Francis Xavier, Canada. So I did a 6 years course in leadership.
Wow.
In 2012. That is my latest.
You're about to get a PhD, I think honorary.
Even the degree.
Your past degree qualification. Certainly.
I wanted because of the work that I'm doing.
No, but you have several diplomas.
I went to do SWASA in 2011, 2010.
So you qualified with a degree again?
No, I did not finish. So because of the work that I do, community mobilizing,
community work,
whatsoever, I wanted to attach a degree that is connecting to that work and widen my knowledge.
Widen your knowledge.
Ask me what happened.
What happened, ma'am?
I went to Ndeje University. They admitted me because my papers are equivalent to A-level, of course, 5 years in course.
Everything.
So I started. Later in the year 2010, I was this person in politics, national woman leader, and then my party DP was like, go and contest in Ruga North constituency because we were lacking a candidate. Having talked to Honorable Kasiba, and he said, no, I'm not interested into your party. So I'm in class. I have children who are going to school. I'm going for elections.
We all do that. We make those sacrifices as politicians.
I did not even finish a semester.
You should have been persistent a little more.
I would have been. At least the financial bit of it, I would mobilize resources.
Yeah.
But now, the campaigns.
The campaigns.
Campaigners wanted me in the field.
Yeah.
So I had not told them I had gone back to school. So every time they are calling, you have this program.
And you're having coursework, you know.
I could not stand school.
You couldn't, certainly. Yeah.
So back to the family life. I grew up there. Then I came to Kampala in 1981.
Wow.
Did my O-level,
you look so young.
1981.
So I'm looking at 81. Where was I?
I can't imagine.
I know.
So I went to Old Kampala Secondary School and did O-level.
Yes.
And the rest I've talked about my other education chances. So after qualifying and graduating in 1991, I looked for jobs. In fact, by the way, one thing I did not tell you, as I worked, those years were very good. 90s were very good years.
Very few people who were educated.
Even in the 80s, we could find jobs.
Very easily.
Unlike today.
Yeah.
I was very ambitious. So I could go for some work in the morning in an office, go to school in the evening. So after I left school, I joined Alpha Builders and Constructors. They were constructors. A construction company in Kampala.
You worked with them?
I worked with them for 5 years.
Okay.
And we are proud that we are the ones who built Tasso Masaka, Tasso Mulago, Crush the King Hall, and others. So this is how I found them.
Yeah, your early life, your early career life, education and all that. How about the other areas? I am trying to trace your journey of activism, when it started, and then later on, living with a disability, and then your leadership journey as well. So those landmarks along there inspire people. Yeah.
I think my activism work started as early as the late 80s. Because my brother who was paying my fees died in 89.
Oh.
Now bringing these children together, bringing the family together, bringing everything together. It was Maxensia to stand in this gap. And I could see the needs for these orphans, for this family. And my mother was hanging when our father had died. So I thought, I think that is where my journey started.
Your journey started.
So I brought most of these kids into my house to take care of them. So every time you're experiencing these challenges as a woman, and then the husband is like, they're taking a lot of money.
Why are they here? They are not supposed to be here.
And then you are hiding some money. I could hide some little money for school fees for them outside.
Them, of course. Yeah,
because he's asking, where does the money go? So, unfortunately, my husband died in 1999.
Before you enjoyed even the fruits of family.
Yeah, we were into this marriage since 1992 with 4 children.
4 children. 4 children.
Just like you mentioned, I had other children. I'm a mother of one.
You are a mother of nations. Many, many, many.
What I went through as a younger widow, when I tested positive in 1998, wow, the violence, the stigma, institutional stigma, I must tell you, I lost jobs. I could not apply for a job. I lost my job. I lost, whenever I could apply for a job, I couldn't get, not because of this problem, because nobody knew about it, but now the upgrading of degrees and whatsoever kicked me out.
Yeah.
So I could not sit idly by and wait until I could find a job.
Wow.
What I went through as a widow. was just
Of course,
enough for me.
Honorable Maxensia, you know that women go through that, even in marriages where they are not widows or even living positively. But now, being a widow and then also being a positive person, that actually accelerates. And a young mother. Of course, that is a complex situation you lived in.
That was enough for me to sit down and decide whether to live or to die.
To stay or to die.
Because when you're tested, they'll tell you, if you don't do this, if you don't do this, if you strain, if you think so much, if you don't. Imagine those times of the 90s.
The 90s, I was going to say
HIV was a very big threat.
It was a big issue, big threat, big.
So what did you do as a young woman when you are tossed left, right, and center? My things, choose to say.
And remember, you had the other large family to take care of. You had to leave.
And my mother was looking up to me.
Yeah.
So what I did was to think twice, and I was like, what should I do? But lucky enough, in this community, Lunguja, where I live, I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic. So I was serving into the church. So I saw everybody coming to me, consoling me, bringing me food. All the women, all the widows would come.
At that time, you're already a counselor.
I wasn't.
Yet before that.
So they could come to me and say, please do this. Don't worry. We have gone through this. You'll manage. So I got a consolation. And I chose to live. I read the Bible so many times.
I see you are a strong woman.
So I get onto this message that he is the father to the fatherless and husband to the widows.
To the widows.
So I read about this woman who was collecting some pieces of wood to cook food for her children, and she dies. And when God filled up the basket, it never got empty. I clinged on those two
scriptures
to
survive on.
So every time I would say, you are my husband.
Provide, sir.
Every time I would feel in the middle of anything, I would say, where are you? And he would provide.
He would. God doesn't.
So I don't have school fees for the children. I would say, where are you, the father of these children? They're here. My basket is empty. God would
fill it.
Until one day I got up and I said, no, I think I have to get into politics. By the way, I was in the politics, but slowly, because my husband was a politician.
Oh, okay.
He even made our home to be the office of the Democratic Party in the 1996 campaign.
Okay. I am tempted to think that politics is inherited in families.
I think so.
Hey, because you are still in DP as we talk now.
Since that time. So I said, I must get where decisions are made, slowly by slowly, for the poor, for the widows, for the orphans and the sick. So I stood for council in 2001. And I won. And by the way, I was the deputy speaker, Lubaga Division. I go into this council, young as I was, a widow, a poor woman, and then everybody stands up to say, she's going to be our speaker, and I was unopposed.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So this was my benchmark upon which I could see things changing.
And you used that space to influence things.
A friend was coming from Budaka today. So I told her, when you get into the coaster, ask for Maxensia's place. Either the drivers or the passengers
will direct you.
So when he was like, yeah, I got Maxensia's, and said, don't worry, just sit, I'll show you there. Only 5 years of leadership as a councillor, I impacted people's lives.
Wow.
Because I told them I'm going to speak for the voiceless. I could lobby for scholarships from Uganda Kingdom. I could lobby for anything that I could set my hands on.
At that level?
Yes.
You were more impactful than even probably a member of parliament?
Yes.
Wow.
So 5 years after, of course, my party did not have a candidate for councillor LOS 5. I stood for councillor LOS 5 in 2006. But within the electoral commission, they removed the hope from me and put something else.
That's how you lost.
So people came voting Maxensia on a whole, because in the whole constituency of Lubaga North,
it was only you.
People knew Maxensia
is the owner of the whole.
Who supports our, who brings us MPs, who brings us this one. Much as she's a councillor, but a selfless woman.
Selfless person. Not necessarily party issues.
So they could call me, you have voted. When someone else was on the whole.
Oh, wow.
And I lost.
Wow. Did you were you able to make another comeback to political life?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But before 2006, I thought of making an institution, a grassroots initiative that can give back to the people who supported me. So it was 2005 when I offered my house. My house, I picked a room and said, this is an office, a clinic for people to be treated.
So actually, when we're having a conversation, I didn't know you started your organization or CBO in your own house, in your sitting room.
In my sitting room, actually.
That is selfless of you, you know.
I started this because I had put up an internet cafe. Within 6 months, it got issues. So I was looking at this room and I was like, why don't I give it back to the community? So I started Lunguja Community Healthcare Organization in 2005. And the person who launched it is the ex-Prime Minister, Honorable Chintu Musoke, because he's a Carlo-mate. And since then, we have been treating people who are affected and affected by HIV.
Wow. And
the most vulnerable people. Started as treatment, counseling, and care, but today it has grown into a different setup altogether. So I wrote on this organization, and then being home-based care was our core activity.
Okay.
So we could visit families, you can find bedridden people, we nurse them, we care for them, we take them for medication in the whole Magari region.
Wow. Wow.
So it gave me enough strength
to keep moving.
To know that I can.
You can push on. You can live for other people and support others, not to live just for you, you know. Yeah.
So 2011, like I had mentioned earlier, my party identified me to stand as an area MP. So I just want to tell people that I think people don't know. With all these papers I'm carrying on my head, be it certificates, be it diplomas, whatsoever, how do you tell me I can't be in parliament? It is a matter of equating them. Because I went to UNEP, and UNEP equated National Council of Higher Education, equated my papers to a degree to A level. So I stood. Though it was a challenge, she did not go to school. I don't know how people get information about us. She did not go to school. She doesn't have the papers, but I had my paper in my bag.
Okay.
And I knew if someone wanted to challenge me, I would present this because
that
it is
was
equivalent.
2011, actually, for district woman member of parliament.
For constituency.
Okay.
In that constituency, we have only one MP. So these are who are called direct seats.
Seats, yes.
Where women and men think it is for men.
It is for men.
We contested, we were 11 in the race with the Honorable Cindy Katonga.
That time. Okay.
But all these men came from Maxensia.
Why? Were you the only woman in that race?
We were together with Allen Chisige, the late, now she died, our DP member. So we were 2 and other 9 men. But everybody could target me. You know, she's sick. You know, she can't manage. Before even they count the votes, she'll be dead. Yes. So this is what they were saying. So everybody could come to see this Maxensia who's been here with them. And then they're like, she has a message. Because I was traveling so much internationally to speak
about HIV/AIDS issues.
So people would say, she has a point. And whatever I was speaking was true and real. And I have done by the way. But people would sit back and say, excuse me, wait a minute. I think what she's saying is okay, is right. But I don't want to mention the name. But they told us she would die before the votes are counted.
Wow. So
people did not vote me because I was incapable, but they were worried of going for another
by-election.
Immediate.
Wow.
So I lost. But losing an election was not losing hope. That's when I gave up with elective
politics.
Wow. Public offices. Because people did not know my worth.
In those years,
and I concentrated on my work for the most vulnerable people.
For the most vulnerable.
Which I'm doing until today.
Up to today. Now, I see, I've looked at your pictures, very beautiful woman in high heels.
And I'm still beautiful.
Of course, I told you, you look much very younger compared to what you are talking about. All those things, I was like 19, what, 8, I know.
Yes.
So when I looked at your profile, I saw somebody who was very able. What happened along the way? Because you are not born disabled. Yeah. And your story is so touching, so inspiring, you know, with that resilience that you have to make it, to live, but not just for you and your family, but also for other people. Yeah. That is leadership as well.
Sure. Imagine, like I told you, our organization dwells much on home-based care. And when I could visit people in their homes, I would say, please take your medicine. Don't wait to fall down. Keep active so you can take care of your family and your children. It was just in 2015. I fell off a border and I thought it was just an accident. But I did not know it triggered something which was hidden in me.
Wow.
You know, when you are into politics, I was running this organization on the plains all the time.
Running a family.
Up and come. I was in Uganda Kingdom.
Yeah.
I was in the church.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't eat on time. Sometimes you don't have enough rest.
Okay.
Sometimes you don't eat the quality food or balanced diet. Because you feel your health and the doctor tells you the viral load is suppressed. So I think this is what caused my breakdown. So when I start this bones aching, backache, you know, this, with my life, I'm a cautious person. So I run to my doctor, nothing. I do this test, nothing. I do the x-rays, nothing. I do nothing. Wow. So until the pain was so much. And when my friend, now the IGG, Honorable Betkana, came to visit me. Yeah, okay. I was a chairperson of her programs when she won, when she was a member of parliament.
Wow.
Yes. So she comes to see me and she's like, you can't die here. When you have saved so many lives, yes, I can't let you die. You must do something. Honorable, that time I was not walking. I had broken down. My legs could not support me anymore. I could fall down as I walked. The pain was too much. So they take me to India. Honorable Betkana fundraised and I went to India. Wow. So many friends fundraised for me. And when I reach India, they tell me it is calcium deficiency.
So you spent all this time in hospitals trying to look for support here in Uganda and failed. They said there was nothing wrong with you here.
Even MRI scans could not detect anything. Nothing could be seen as my medical problem. And doctors were suspecting HIV having infected my spinal cord. And imagine my spinal cord was very okay until today.
By the time you reached India? Wow.
So nothing could be detected. So when I reached India, they did everything.
Every test.
I have a full bag of x-rays, CT scans, tests, and everything.
Wow.
Until our last physician came and said, when he looked at these papers, osteopenia.
What is that?
This is a disease that eats up the bones. The bones reduces. They lose weight. The bone density reduces. Causes a lot of pain. And by the way, it's a chronic problem. Because it doesn't cure.
It doesn't cure. Wow.
So I was sent back home. You can imagine when I came back home in 2016 November, you could not imagine this person is coming from a big hospital in India. On the plane, people were asking, where are you going? Because I had a spasm that could pull me. And I'd do that. And people were thinking I was going for medication. And I could tell them, I'm coming from
medication, getting medication.
And they had given me a handful of tablets.
Wow. Wow.
So my situation was set between 2016 when I came back to 2018. That is the time I would have lost it if I was not a believer. Because I kept talking to God until today, I'll not die. Even when the pain wasn't, I said, I'll not die. I'm here for the people.
So this orthopedic or something causes that terrible pain in the body.
Yes.
And basically it's about pain. You Nothing else is pointing,
but it is not pain you touch here and feel, but just deep into the veins.
Oh yes.
So until a friend, my sister Flavia Chomukama, she had lost her son that time, and I was like, I'm dying. I think this is cancer that killed our son. So she said, no, go to JCRC and find Dr. Sally. In fact, she gave me a number to call.
The late Dr. Sally?
No, Sally of JCRC.
Oh yes, JCRC is still there.
Just go. Because at the hospital where I was taking my treatment, getting my treatment from, of course they tried. They tried their best. But doctor was confused about my situation.
A professor of medicine.
So I had to go. And the worst thing was, when I left India, I had a recommendation that they changed the regimen that I was on, TDF.
Okay.
You know, we have these different types of ARVs.
Oh, yes.
So they changed. After all, my viral load was suppressed, and it's still suppressed. So I did not need much, but at least to be kept on medication. So I had to change from TDF to another option. But my doctor was like, but the medication is working well on her. Let us keep her on and see. 17, 18 until my legs fractured. I lost all the calcium through urine. This is how I made myself mad to go to JCRS. Where they put me on calcium for 7 months, changed the medication, and how you see me now improving.
Just a few years ago.
This was 2018.
2018.
But my legs had fractured already.
3 years or something.
My legs had fractured already.
Imagine legs just fracturing from nowhere.
From the bed where I was sleeping. I slept straight like this for 3 years. 16, 17, 18, straight. But I was not even sleeping. It was just because I had to lie down because I could not pull these legs here. I could not turn myself. I could not feed myself. I could not bathe myself. Someone was, this volunteer in the community was
such immense pain and discomfort.
So you could just look at me and you could not spare at least 5 minutes with me. Because you could see pain on my face
everywhere
and chose to do. So this is how they fractured. And now when you look at this one,
not born with disability, but now
I got it in 2018. Okay, doctors at KOSU proposed an operation, but my bones were very thin and weak, like a reed. So they were fearing to operate me. Maybe this metal they put here would not fit.
Inside. Wow.
So they encouraged me to take a lot of calcium. That anything that builds the bone density
to increase.
And I'm sure it has. Because I last went to KOSU.
You're actually looking very good.
I last went to KOSU in 2019. I'm hopeful that I can have an operation.
Yes.
And maybe walk.
So if your bones strengthen, you can be operated and restored.
Yes.
Restored.
The most fear doctors
on
have
the knees
is this knee because it doesn't stretch. But they told me if it is operated, it can either stretch without coming back, or I can have an opportunity.
A little bit to be flexible here and there. So how do you feel now?
Oh, I'm so grateful to the people who takes care of. I got this volunteer from the church.
Wow.
You know, when you do good to the people,
good comes back to you.
To you at a time of need. Because we have impacted society, but we have saved many lives. And every day I know there are people who are saying, this woman, may God bless her, even if you don't give me anything.
So, Honorable Maxensia, in this situation, we hear you are still doing a lot of work in the community. I called you from the community today. What keeps you going? What are you still doing?
Like I was mentioning, this volunteer from the community, from my church, she came to take care of me for 3 years. Florence Nakalema could not miss a day without coming to care for me from morning up to.
Wow.
Every day for 3 years. Have you ever seen that?
I have never.
I did not know her. Huh? She came and was like, someone told me to come and care for you.
Huh? She's an angel.
Why can't I be grateful?
You have to.
Why can't I be happy? This is the time when my 3 children were at school, university. And 2 of them did not even complete because of my medication,
Wow.
which was very expensive. So you have someone here. She could do everything. Now I have prayer warriors who are praying for me. I have people who have supported me since 2016 until today. Even my party president, Nobert Ma. They have been there for me. What do you need? 700. Let me send it for treatment for this.
Wow.
People have been there. Sisters in the HIV coalition of Uganda, Flavia Chomokama, Beatrice Wele, whoever Pesi Baguma, they were there to say, please,
we
don't
need you
lose
alive.
it. Don't lose it.
Okay.
But above all, in 2019, somehow, a lot of pain came back. I remember that day in May, I talked to my God, like I was seeing him like I'm
this,
seeing.
yes.
And I said, it seems I sinned more than any other person. I've pleaded for forgiveness and I've done this, and so let me die. Just take me now. I'm tired of the pain. But you know the condition I gave God? I told him, but you gave me people to take care of in the community. I never cried for my children.
You cry for other people.
For the people who are going through what I'm going through.
Imagine.
And I told God, take me, but one condition. Take me to heaven. For I have had my hell here. So take me to heaven. And I realized, because a dead person doesn't feel pain. What was I reading? I was reading Ezekiel part 7. The bones that were in the
valley.
So I could not even put those bones full. I mean, put whatever on them. Tell them to get up. I was speaking to myself.
To yourself.
Now I'm getting up. Now they are getting fresh. Now this one.
Wow.
So I got a second chance. I'm grateful because of what I've done.
Yes.
God gave me a second chance. How I feel today, I'm full of praises. For everybody who has stepped in my life, including you.
Your life is a blessing, Honorable. Certainly, I cannot doubt that. And I know the community where you are in, those persons that you're taking care of, they ask God for more of your life to be alive so that you can impact those lives. So right now, just like to pick your thoughts as we wind up. Capturing your life, the way it has been, very challenging, full of, many things that you have gone through, losing a husband at an early age, becoming a widow, taking care of the family in that setting that you described, getting HIV, then also now getting that disability. For somebody else, it would be very easy to give up. Very, very easy to give up, like any other human being. I'd just like to capture a few thoughts, what keeps you going, some of the lessons you can share with people out there that have kept your life going and that you would like to impact someone with. Yeah.
Thank you. My God who loves me so much. Supreme, He's supreme.
Above all.
I saw death for people who saw me between 17 and 18. Maxensia would have died then.
Wow.
But He picked me up.
He picked you up.
So I'm serving a second chance God. That has kept me. Today, Monica, you can annoy me. But I cannot get annoyed for a month. Because I know my God will get annoyed with me when even He picked me up. When I thought I had lost it.
Yeah, yeah.
The friends who have been around me. Think about this woman who took care of me. What can I give to her? I can't.
Keeping friendships is very important.
And even when you ask her, she will tell you, I promised Mama that I'll take care of her until she's better.
Wow.
Now, what can I say about my family? Because I disclosed my children at the death of their father. Teresa was telling me, my third born, I did not know even this, My husband's auntie had picked on her, took her to her place since P1, since P2. So she was like, one time I came here, there was a function when this organization had started. And I heard you giving a testimony because they were telling me, Mama, she not me. But the rest I made with, I disclosed to them as early as possible in order to give me support. And they have given it to me since 1999.
Wow.
However young they were. So what can I say? They have seen me through when I was sick.
Yeah. Yeah.
They work with me in the organization to save the lives of the people. I thank people whoever has come in my life has made me strong. But even the insults that people thought they were insulting me made me strong. Every time they would say, she's going to die, and they have seen me live.
Wow. Wow.
So that makes me know that it is only God.
It's only God.
So my family, my children, my people, the civil society organization that has supported me to do work, to impact the lives of people, because I can't have all the resources.
You can't.
So whoever has touched my life, and I can't finish without mentioning my late Archbishop, Dr. Cyprian, who has told them, well, there's this powerful woman in the community. And he picked me up to be a focal person HIV Kampala Diocese in 2014. I had just moved 2 years with him when I broke down.
Wow.
But he could come and visit me. Who am I?
Who are you?
To be visited.
To be visited by.
I told you, IGG is my sister. Betkam is not my friend. She's my sister.
Wow.
I have these friends. Now I'm having you.
Speak to those people in Lunguja and the wider community of persons living with HIV, the young women. Because right now you're doing a lot of support in the young women's the women's movement in terms of leadership development. Just a few things, and we wind up from there.
Yes.
1 or 2 lessons of life. That's what I'm trying to drive
I've been into this space for a long time. My work today is to mentor young people to take on this mantle. I'll speak about my political side the other time. But today, we are mentoring people to take care of communities, to impact communities in my organization, especially the young people, to say, you are still energetic, please support.
Do something.
Do something. Our internship program in our organization, it's the best thing that students from universities pass highly with the 80s and 90s. We do hands-on experience, and I give my testimony and my story, not just because I'm proud to be disabled and with HIV, but to inspire.
To inspire others. Yes.
I was a young woman when I got this. So not to lose it up. We inspire them, we mentor them, not to lose any direction in case of any circumstance that could be pressing. We live in a society where young people are not employed.
Yeah.
Do a service.
To the community.
Volunteer. My friends in the USA, when I used to go, they were like, this has a biggest percentage for someone to get a job in the USA. When you volunteer.
Wow.
Volunteer. Do a service. Be visible. You never know how much, where it will take.
It will take you.
So I say, don't just sit in a corner and weep, because weeping will not take out these problems, but
do something.
Do something.
Do something. Wow. Honorable, your life cannot be captured in one program, like in an hour. I should have divided it into bits, because there are so many phases that you have gone through, living with disability, living with HIV, living as a widow, living a life of leadership, impacting in your community, wherever you are. That's also another story of another day.
I know.
But I've just tried to pick here and there. Sure. I know that the people who look out for you, there's a lot God has placed in you that can contribute to impacting society and changing lives just through sharing your stories. I want to thank you so much for coming to share your story with us. Thank you for being a blessing to other people,
Amen.
To humanity.
Amen.
Yes, your life is very, very rich and impactful, and your leadership. So we pray that God gives you more life to keep impacting.
Amen.
And give testimony to what you're doing. So, but we want to say we are very, very proud of you as the women and women leaders and the women's community in the country and beyond, for the things that you're doing in this country.
Thank you so
yes,
much.
Thank you so much. I want to sign out from here. We've been here with Honorable Nakibuuka Maxensia Takirambule, a person who is really someone you must look out for in terms of the various activism that she has done, but also her experience can help and support another person who is living out there and needs that kind of support in this country. Thank you so much for viewing us. Until we meet next time, Shalom.